The following is paid programming.
It's time to talk taxes.
New friends, new opportunities, new partners. EG Tax.
It's Ask the Tax Lady with Esther Gulius and EG Tax on News Radio 930 WBEN. To reach Esther now, call 803-0930. Toll free at 1-800-616-9236. And cell calls are free at star 930. And now, live from the WBEN studios, it's Esther Gulius.
Well, good afternoon, everybody, and it is a good afternoon out there. Finally, a good weekend in Buffalo, New York.
Yay.
This is Ask the Tax Lady. Obviously, you can hear she's not here. It's a good weekend, and that's not why she's not here. She is under the weather.
Yeah, she's coughing and coughing and coughing and coughing, and she said it would have been hard to get a word out without coughing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm Chris Fabian from EG Tax. I'm joined with my beautiful wife, Tiffany Fabian.
Hey there, Esther.
Esther.
Oh, my God. Hello,
Stop, rewind, do it again.
Yeah. Our daughter today went skydiving. That
Yep.
was crazy.
Yeah, I always tell her, be good, be safe. I don't know if that was either of those. But she did survive.
Right.
She said it was the best time, and now she's trying to talk us into doing it.
Well, we
So-
have been on a diet, so I guess, is there a weight restriction?
Yes, we're both under.
Oh, wow.
Darn. But if you have your tax questions, sorry, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on your cell phone, 1-800-616-9236 if you're out of the regular listening area. And you could also text in your questions to 3930. Today, we're going to talk about how to make extra money during the summer,
Right.
the self-employment. You know, the do's and the don'ts and everything to help you do it right so you don't get in trouble come tax time with workman's comp, with sales tax, with payroll, you name it, because, you know, Big Brother's watching as much as we don't want to admit it. There is a Big Brother out there watching us.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I was talking to somebody, or actually I was eavesdropping on conversation, and he was like, yeah, I'm doing Uber and Lyft in the summer, and it's just extra money. I don't have to pay any taxes on it. And I'm thinking, oh, that's not true. I was, again, eavesdropping on the conversation. But
Well, if you were your mother, you would have said, wait, stop, you do. You're going to get a 1099. And
yeah, that's true. Yeah, so it's not just extra money. You really want to make sure you keep good track of all your expenses and your money in, you know?
Right. You know, big thing nowadays, this time of year, is people who cut lawns.
Right.
You know, lawn care service. I mean, that's a big business. And depending on how many lawns you do and who you do it for, you may think, oh, it's all under the table. I'm getting cash. But realistically, it's not under the table. You should claim it on your tax return. And sometimes it may be better than not claiming it.
Yep, absolutely, because then you're paying into Social Security. You've got to get your quarters in, so you get, you know, when you retire someday, you have your Social Security payments. And so, and then you could put money in away in SEPs and pension plans.
Right. You know, there's opportunities there. But what about the person who does maybe 10 lawns a week, but yet they went out and bought a $3,000 lawnmower, and then they're driving and they bought a trailer? They're actually could be at a loss,
Right.
which would help them reduce their other income.
That's exactly right, which would be beneficial if they have a second job, and so it's actually eating into their income. The IRS is good about allowing you to have 3 years of a loss without showing a profit, because the logic is it takes a couple of years to build your business and get it up, and so they really are pretty lenient for those first couple of years, realistically.
Right.
You know?
Yep. I mean, so you just got to keep track of everything, and that's what we're going to talk about in a little bit. last week we had our workshop, Ready, Set, Retire workshop, which was a big success. If you missed it and you have questions, you can call us during the office.
Yep. And next week, one of our guests, Jeff Katz, will be on the radio for our summer series. We're going to have Jeff Katz, and he's going to be talking about estate and trust. And if you missed that, he was in the Ready, Set, Retire seminar.
Right, because you got to get your will in order. You know, should your house be in a life estate? Do you have the right beneficiaries? Do you have beneficiaries on your 401ks, your IRAs? Is on your bonds? Do you have time of death listed?
Have your beneficiaries passed away, regrettably, and so you have to update your beneficiaries. I know I just helped a client last week. I spent a lot of time. We went to the Treasury Direct, and he had 65 saving bonds. And regrettably, his son had passed away, and so we had to put those double E bonds and convert them from paper bonds to electronic bonds. And once they were converted to electronic bonds, then we could switch the name of the beneficiary on them. But if you need help with any of those tasks, we can do that for you.
Right. And here today, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on your cell phone. We're going to go to Jackie. Hey, Jackie, how can we help you?
Hi. Actually, I have two questions. First, is there a publication that the IRS has come out with that tells you what is tax deductible in 2019 moving forward? And what is tax deductible if I open a business, like, say, an S-Corp, that the interest would be deductible? Is it on the second piece of property? What? I thought I heard you mention that.
Okay. Well, first of all, are you now, with being deductible, do you mean for businesses, your first question, or do you mean personal expenses?
2019, what's
Tax
taxable?
to the property, and I'm debating if I should open an S-Corp or a corporation because I've lost all my deductions now, and I'm trying to get them back. And since I fall into that category of having more than one property, I could use that to my advantage. I just don't know how. Well,
the only way to deduct your expenses for your second house would be if you had it as a rental activity. So you would have to actively try to produce income. You can't just put a second house in a corporation, say it's a corporation, and then take your property taxes off for it. You still have to prove how that's trying to produce income.
And there's no loans I can take out with any pieces of property that would count.
I mean, unless it was, you're allowed on the personal side 2 homes to take mortgage interest from. Okay? So if you have a vacation home in North Carolina, in Florida, and you have your house here, you're entitled to deduct your mortgage interest on both of those.
That was it. Okay.
Okay.
Trying to remember you said.
Yep. No, but that's a good question because a lot of people out there have different homes. Like a mobile home counts as a second home. A boat could count as a second home.
There's a bathroom and a kitchen.
And a bedroom.
And is there a publication?
If you're looking for what's deductible on your personal expenses, that would be just your 1040 instructions or the Pub 17.
And then did you answer her question about the S-Corp?
The S-Corp is entitled to her second home, so we put everything all in together.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Okay.
Well, I'm Chris Fabian, joined with Tiffany Fabian from EG Tax. We're here for another 45 minutes to answer your tax questions. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back. That sounds, Frank, I think you heard my wife say my daughter skydived. It sounds like skydiving music when you're watching the video. But this is Chris Fabian in studio with Tiffany Fabian from EG Tax. We're here to help you with whatever tax needs you may have. 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on your cell phone. Text in your question to 3930. I know it's nice outside, but everybody's got to go and drink, stay hydrated. We're not used to that. Got to stay hydrated. I know Jay, who answers the phone here, is running a race, and he goes, I don't want it to be warm tomorrow. I have to run. Sorry, Jay, we still want it to be warm. But give us a call on your breaks. We finally get to do weeding, to get to do mulch.
We have, 30 bags?
30 bags sitting in our driveway waiting to get empty. That's what I'm going to be doing when I'm done.
Me too.
Yep. But, and that's one of the areas you can make extra money. is helping people with their lawns, with their landscaping. Daycare. How about people who don't have daycare during the summer because they're only used to being for the school? Babysit for 2 months.
Right.
Watch your neighbor's kids.
And the biggest thing is there's, some single moms out there who have children and they don't make any money. And if they would make a little money, even self-employment, they would be privy to this amazing earned income credit. And so Esther is always famous about saying, just go get a job, self-employment, anything to get that wonderful earned income credit.
But most people are I got to pay that self-employment tax at 15.3%. That's going to kill me. But like you were saying, if you're a single mom, 3 kids, and you make $10,000 in self-employment, okay, so your self-employment tax is $1,500. Your earned income credit is about $5,000.
So take the
not to
5,000
mention
minus the 15.
the additional child tax credit at $1,400. So now you're $4,200 plus the earned income credit of $5. You're at $9,200 minus $5,200 minus $1,500. You're at $7,700 refund from the federal government.
Yeah, go get a little part-time
That
job.
sounds
even if
pretty
it's
good.
Self-employment, it
Yep.
really is. And then New York State also has the earned income credit, the Empire State Child Tax Credit, and so it's not a bad proposition.
No. I mean, how about, like you said, Uber and Lyft? If you are an Uber and Lyft driver out there, yes, they give you a nice report that says how many miles you drove, but that's how many miles you drove with somebody in your car. When you leave your house, when you go to pick up one client to the next person, that's all mileage. So keep track of that mileage yourself.
And you can only do the mileage from home to where you're going. If you have a room in your house that you solely and exclusively use as an office, it can't double as a bedroom. It has to have 4 walls and a door.
Right. And we now have
Eileen
from Buffalo. Hi, Eileen. How can we help you?
I have a question about income tax.
Okay.
89 years old. My husband died in 2002. The only income I have is Social Security and the IRA mandatory whatever.
The RMD, yep.
Yeah. So do I have to file an income tax?
Is your minimum distribution under $13,000?
I don't know what that...
How much you have to take out of your IRA?
I don't take anything out of the IRA.
Right, but your minimum distribution you're forced to take out every year.
Once you reach the age of 70 and a half, you have to take out your...
I don't really know if you can figure... I can't figure that out.
Okay, well, I would probably say you don't have to file, but what I would do, Eileen, is on Monday, once you have all your paperwork, you give us a call at the office, and we'll help you at no charge, and we'll figure out if you have to file. But I'm thinking no, but without having the figures, it's hard for me to say.
Eileen, do you take something out every year from your IRA?
No, they send it to me.
Okay, good. Yay.
Yes, so that's...
How much do they send to you a year?
Oh, I don't know. It varies. Sometimes it's... Oh... No, I'd have to get the income tax things out. I go to the AARP income tax people. I can bring that with me, too.
Yeah.
So the law says that if you're over the age of 65, you don't have to file a return unless you make more than $13,000 a year in addition to your Social Security. So like Chris says, I think you're in the free and clear and you don't have to file.
Oh.
But give us a call on Monday and we'll double check.
Those figures.
Okay, well, it was just... Never mind. I won't hold you up on your rate.
No, that's all right. Anytime. But give us a call at 632-7886.
Yes, I will.
Okay. Thank you.
Enjoy the nice weather.
Yeah, don't call Sandy Beach and ask him that question. He might get a little confused, I would think. Right, Frank? Yeah, Frank's shaking his head. And there's other tools, too, because maybe she only has to take $5,000 out. She could take out more and still pay no taxes. Yeah, definitely give us a call next week, Eileen. And we're going to go to Kevin from Westfield. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, Tiffany. I love you.
I love you.
Wait, I'm her
Right.
husband. Do we have to drop you?
I'm really Kevin from Jamestown.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
Kev, how's it going?
I'm on disability. Does it change at 65 and go to something else? Or am I on disability the rest of my life?
You're on disability forever. It doesn't switch over.
Yeah, you probably make more on disability than you would if you were to switch to your regular Social Security.
Because somebody said it switches to Social Security. I said, I don't think so.
Nope, it does not. It stays as disability, which is good and easy, and the amount would have stayed the same. It wouldn't have made any difference.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll see you, dear.
See ya. So he's on Social Security disability, right?
Yep, and I accidentally just hung up on somebody. I apologize if I did. Just give us a call back. There are open phone lines, and we'll get you right on.
Was it two people you hung up?
No, just one.
One.
Okay, and we're going to go to Bill in Rochester. Hey, Bill.
Hi, good afternoon, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Question. And when I filed my income tax for last year there, I got a refund from the federal and from the state. I requested a check be sent. I got the federal, but I still haven't gotten the state.
So
is there a way to find out where it is and how long?
Yeah, there is. So one of the most common things that New York State has been doing is they've been mailing out a letter asking for you to prove your withholdings. So in way of proving your withholdings, they want a copy of your W-2s and your 1099-Rs. So my first question, Bill, is did you get a letter from New York State recently or a month or 2 months ago?
No.
Okay. So what I would do is, Chris would tell you I'm famous at conference calls. So give me a call on Monday, and I'm going to do a conference call with you and the New York State practitioner line to check on the status of your refund. And we didn't have to do your return to do it, but did one of our offices do your return?
No, I had a repair in Rochester do it.
Okay, that's fine. But
About how long they wait before they send up?
They're usually New York State was pretty good this year. If they didn't request more information, got to put that disclaimer out there. They've been about 2 weeks, so they may have sent a letter that you didn't get requesting a copy of your W-2. But that's why Tiff said give her a call on Monday.
I don't work anymore. I'm retired.
Okay, so so it could be they're looking for your 1099-R, but give Tiff a call on Monday, and she'll do a conference call with you.
with the practitioner line, it's a whole time of like 9 or 10 minutes. It's really quick, Bill.
Check. Is there a website or something?
Yep, you can go to
New York State
tax.ny.gov. So tax.ny.gov, and then click Where's My Refund?
Tax.ny.gov.
.gov.
Yep. Okay.
Yep, and if it still says being processed, give us a call, and we'll help you figure out why it's being processed, okay?
When you go on that site that Chris just said, click on Check Your Refund Status.
All right.
Okay, and if you have further questions, just give us a buzz.
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on your cell phone. You have questions, hopefully we have the answers. But give us a call here. Going back to self-employed,
In a minute, I'll read the text question.
After in the news.
After the break, okay.
Yep. You got to keep track of all your income. Right? Not just the checks, not just the Square if you take credit cards. You have to keep track of all your income. And have a separate bank account.
Yep.
Don't mix bank accounts, because what happens, Tiff, if you mix bank accounts with your personal and your business?
You can't discern what's legitimately for business and what's for personal. And so if there's an audit situation, you are in a world of hurt, and it makes it much more difficult. And then don't forget, this year there's the new credit for business owners, the 990. Oh, excuse me.
It's the QBI, the 20%, not a credit. It's a 20% deduction after you take your itemized or standard deduction. So that's a plus too. But going back
to the checking account.
Going back to the checking account, if you mix in your personal, the IRS will go, and look at every deposit. What's this $100? What's this $1,000? What's this $10? What's this $2.23? And whatever you can't pinpoint where it's from, they're going to count as business income. So you want to make sure you definitely keep a business account and a personal account separate. If you need money from the personal account, transfer it in, but put a notation, transfer from personal account. If you're transferring money out, transfer to personal account. You got to keep good records. And that also goes through with your expenses, right?
Yep, absolutely. If you have a separate bank account, we even encourage rental owners, landlords, to make sure that they have a separate account, one for their personal and one for their rentals. I know that it's really easy to keep track of the money in and then all of your expenses if you have that separate account, so that you know when at the end of the year when you're doing your tally, it's much easier to back into the figures if you have a separate account versus if you've commingled.
Right. Yeah. Your expenses. Well, I guess we got to take a break for the news. EG Tax here to help you with whatever tax questions you have. 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on the cell phone. Text in your question at 3930, and we'll be back after the news to help you. Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's Chris Fabian again and Tiffany Fabian from EG Tax. Half an hour left in our show. Whatever tax questions you may have, give us a call here, 803-0930. If you want to yell at Jay for wishing that it would get cold, you can do that, too, by calling that number. Star 930 on your cell phone. Next week, we have Jeff Katzen to help answer your questions in regards to elder law. After that, we'll have Russ Gullo. We have then Mike Hayfleck talking about Social Security. We're going to have a nursing home expert on, too, in the beginning of August, who was at our seminar. So we're trying to get everybody together to help you get your life in order, no matter what stage that it's in. And I believe, Tiff, you are going to read a question.
Yep, I am. It's a text question. I have a rental property that is fully depreciated. Is there any way to change that? A bank loan for improvements, for example?
No. I mean, you can improve the house, and then your cost of improvement would be depreciated. But there's no way for you yourself to depreciate that house again. It's only what you do to it after. But
do a real estate exchange, I was thinking. Go on.
Right. But if you were to pass, like I said, it's you yourself couldn't do anything to depreciate it again. But if you were to pass away, the person who inherits that house gets the stepped up value and gets to depreciate that house all over again.
That's pretty cool.
So, yeah. And if you're looking to sell that house, then you're going to probably pay a lot of tax because it's fully depreciated, which means there's no basis. So it's all going to be gain.
Now, what if they get a home equity line of credit?
It does nothing.
Yeah.
Does nothing. It's if you bought $20,000 to fix the roof, then you depreciate the $20,000 again.
Right.
Okay. But if you're going to sell and you want another property, that's when you would need Russ Gullo, like I said, who's going to be on in a couple weeks to talk about 1031 exchanges, because then you can change your property A for property B and pay no tax.
Yep.
I mean, it's a win-win.
Sometimes you might want to keep your property here or get a property in Florida. So you might want to change your whole zip code, and you can do that. You can exchange it from one place to the other. Yeah, I think I have a lot of clients who fall into this umbrella, and so it's really difficult when it's fully depreciated, because when you think about selling it, the capital gain is gulp. It's very, very large. And so it's really important that you plan for that, and we can help you do that.
Right. And then follow up for a rental question. If I'm not getting rent, can I take a loss on my tax return?
And so the law says that in order to do that, take a loss on your rental, you have to have a profit motive. And so if you're not getting rent, you don't have a profit motive. So the answer is no, you can't take a loss unless your intent is to make a profit and to try to make a profit. And so if you're not collecting rent, then you can't take a loss. So I would say to you that you might want to turn it into a rental and have a profit motive.
Right. Why aren't you renting it? Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm fixing it up. Well, okay. Well, then you can take all those expenses. Once it's available to rent, start depreciating again. I'm just waiting for that right person to come in, and they just haven't came yet, and it's been vacant for 2 years. No. Right. You're not going to be able to claim a loss on it.
And then Don, it was Don who texted that in. Don't forget that if you're an itemizer, even if you're not getting rent, you can still deduct the property taxes and the mortgage on the Schedule A if you are able to itemize. And even if you can't itemize on the federal, maybe you can itemize on New York State. But again, you can't take a loss unless you have a profit motive. And so you're making rent. And, that ties in really nicely to some people who are renting to their kids or their niece or their aunt, and they give them a discounted rent. And so you really don't want to do that, because that rent then goes on line 21 instead of making it a Schedule E where you can have a loss. Another thing that Esther always says is, say you have your daughter and you're renting to them at a lower rent price, charge them fair market rent, and then give them a gift. Every year you can gift up to $15,000 a year. So call us. There's tax planning involved, and it's really important that you dot your I's and cross your T's.
Right, yep. And why Tiff was saying that it had to go on line 21, fair market rent. And that's, how people go, well, how will the IRS determine what's fair rental value? Because your auditors live in town. They know what rent is, and they're going to ask you, how many bedrooms? Where is it located? How many bathrooms? Oh, okay, so you're in North Buffalo. Oh, you should get 3-bedroom. You should get $800 a month. Why are you only charging $300 a month? And that's what you always have to make sure you're running it like a business.
Right, and that ties into the separate accounts, one for your personal and one for your rental or your small business.
Right. 803-0930, 803-0930 to answer your tax questions. And, how is the money taxed if you have a business? Self-employment tax, 15.3% on the net profit.
Right.
Not the gross, right?
That's right. So what the money you make minus all your expenses, that gives you the net, and that's what they charge the self-employment on. And I can't tell you how many people I do their tax return, and maybe you're going to talk about this in a second, but they're self-employed and they pay for their own health insurance. Don't forget that there's a self-employed health insurance deduction, and that's even if you get health insurance through the marketplace. If there's something that you pay for health insurance, there's an adjustment to income that you're privy to. So don't forget to take advantage of that.
Right. And if you're not getting it, if you're self-employed and you're not getting it through the marketplace, maybe you want to look at the marketplace, because you may be able to get your health insurance cheaper that you don't know about. Putting money in an IRA reduces your income for health insurance purposes. So maybe you go from paying $300 a month to $20 a month. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a huge savings right there. And so you put $3,000 in, instead of sending it to health insurance, you put it away for your retirement, and it's a win-win.
I know this is a little off topic, but I can't tell you, nothing excites me more than being able to help my clients in different ways, but financially. One of my clients during tax season, they were paying from their employer about $600, $700 a month for health insurance for the whole family, and it was just killing them. They couldn't afford to pay the $600, $700 a month. I mean, they were literally working 2 jobs, each of them. They were just trying to make ends meet, scraping the bottom of the barrel. And so I said, they have 3 kids. If they peeled off those 3 kids and got Healthy New York for the kids, that would drop their insurance. So I called in Tim, who is our healthcare navigator. The kids are now getting Healthy New York, and their health insurance costs have been slashed in half.
Yeah.
So just
I mean,
tools.
the tools that, we have that we can help you, whether you're a client or not, we want to make sure your money's staying in your pocket, and you're doing things the right way. If you're self-employed, we get this all the time. Should I become an LLC? Should I become a corporation? What's entailed? Why would I want to?
Right. So the biggest thing is protection, right, Chris? I mean, the first thing when somebody sits down with you and says, should I get incorporated? The first thing that incorporating or a LLC would offer their protection, so that when, heaven forbid, you're a barber and somebody comes into your shop and they trip through up the step and they fall and they hurt themselves, if you're not incorporated, they can go after your personal assets. And so it's protection, because we live, as Esther would say, in a litigious society. And so you want to always safeguard that notion.
Right. So look at what you're doing. Is it somewhere you can get sued? A lot of people go, oh, I need to become an LLC. Why? Because I started a business. What are you doing? I'm a consultant. Okay, you're really not going to get sued being a consultant. I'm a landscaper. Well, there you can get sued. You hit a rock and someone, loses their eye.
Yeah.
You can get sued. You gotta, protect. You gotta look at where it is and protect yourself. And the same goes through with rental properties.
Right.
Should I have a rental house in an LLC or a partnership or a corporation? A partnership, a regular partnership, there is no protection.
Right.
An LLC, which is the part, has the umbrella of protection. So if you have two rental properties, maybe put both of them in one LLC. If you have 10 rental properties, you may want to look at maybe 5 different LLCs or maybe 10 different LLCs, because if you have them all under one and something happens in one rental property, they can go after all your rental properties.
And I want to say something about incorporating. Just because you're a business that performs a service or a task, like a landscaper, and people could get hurt, don't forget, if you're a service company, you can also get sued for failure to perform or failure to perform correctly. So just because you're not physically doing something, don't forget, if you're a service company like a healthcare or insurance company, you can get sued for failure to perform or failure to perform correctly. So insurance or incorporating is important for lots of different businesses.
Right. And, the thing is, too, if you do become an LLC, the check, once you get paid, if they're paying you by check, has to be paid to the LLC name. It can't go to Tiffany Fabian. It would have to go to Tiffany Fabian LLC, if that's the name of her LLC. So you got to keep that money separated. Personal's personal, business is business. Okay.
Makes sense.
So just be careful that way.
Bookkeeping is really important. I know at our offices, we have Maria Rickard and her team. They do a phenomenal job of bookkeeping. And there's a lot of people, they fall behind in their bookkeeping. Life happens. And so if you need instructions or guidance, I'm not doing it to drum up business for Maria. I mean, she's just great at bookkeeping, and she can walk you through on how to use Excel or QuickBooks. And it's just, you want to make sure you keep track of everything.
Life happens. I think they're doing 8 years.
I didn't know how to say it.
8 years for somebody.
Yeah, didn't know if
so,
I could say
I mean, that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, we see that not just in bookkeeping. We see that in doing your tax returns.
Yeah.
I mean, don't feel, if you're the type of person out there, if you're out there and you haven't filed for 3, 4, 5 years and you're like, oh my God, the IRS, they're going to come get me. I can't go. I don't want to go because I don't want them to find me. Mm-hmm. You're not alone. Right. Don't ever think you're alone. There's a lot of people out there in that boat. It's more like a cruise ship than a little boat. Okay. Give us a call. The first step is giving us a call.
I think the worst thing is the people who, is like Esther always says, you stick your head in the sand, or is that the IRS is the largest debt collector there is, and they will garnish your Social Security, garnish your pension, and so fix it before you're in that boat.
Right, and how about the people who had refunds coming that lost the refund
I just
because
helped
it's
somebody.
over 3 years old.
I just helped
So-
somebody the other day who had their refund seized. But the thing is that the IRS calculated it incorrectly. I amended 3 years, and now she gets money from the IRS. And so don't accept the answer. Give us a call. I mean, I was so happy for her.
Yep. EG Tax here, 15 minutes left. Give us a call in studio, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on the cell phone, and we're going to take a quick break.
And we'll answer the text on the other side.
Okay, this is the music when you're on a raft going down the Niagara River. Hopefully not over the falls, but just sitting and chilling, maybe in the pool. But if you're in the pool and you have tax questions, give us a call here, 803-0930, 803-0930. Don't be shy. We don't bite. We want to help you. Star 930 on your cell phone, and I'll
read the text. It says the two things. The one says, thank you so very much. You're a great asset to the community, which kudos, Esther. Esther is just... Okay, next text question is, how difficult is it to form an LLC from a personal name to an LLC, which LLC stands for Limited Liability Corporation?
Company.
Okay, go on.
Wow. It's not hard. There's stuff you have to do with New York State. There's a lot of legal ends to it. That's why we refer people to a lawyer to do LLCs instead of incorporating, which we can do for people. The hardest part about doing an LLC would be the advertising, because you have to advertise yourself on a daily, a weekly, and a monthly newspaper for 3 to 6 months. And it can get a little bit costly. But if you don't do the advertising, you're not truly an LLC, so that umbrella of protection isn't there. So just be careful if you're doing that.
And that can get pretty, you mentioned costly.
Yep.
And so sometimes that's why an S-Corp incorporating might be the way to go instead of an LLC.
Right. And we're not meaning you put an ad, a 2x2 ad in the paper saying, Tiffany Fabian LLC is open for business. That's not what the advertising is. What the advertise is, if you go in the classified sections, you'll see those legal notices, and it will say Tiffany Fabian formed Tiffany Fabian LLC. You know, I'm just using this as an example. She really didn't start an LLC, but that's that legal notice, and that's got to be there to fulfill your advertising needs. And we're going to go to the phones and talk to Bill in Lewiston. Hey, Bill.
Hi.
Hi.
Listen, I was listening to the show, and I missed that part about the converting e-bonds to something electronically. I like what that was all about.
Sure. So, one of my clients has paper bonds, and so regrettably his son passed away, and his son is listed on the bonds, and so we had to switch the beneficiary. We had to switch the name of the paper bonds, and you can't do it if it's paper bonds. You have to first convert them into electronic bonds, and so we had to go to Treasury Direct, and we had to open up an account. I can tell you, when the Treasury Direct, which is part of the U.S. government, when we had a question, they answered the call in about 2 minutes. I called multiple times while I was doing this. And so, Bill, they literally, my client, and I would do this for anybody, had 65 bonds. We had to sit there and manually enter in each of the bonds, all the serial numbers, the issue date, and we had to do that. I had to do that 65 times. And so before you could switch the name, I had to convert them to electronic bonds. Now that they're electronic bonds, I can switch the name of the ownership and the beneficiaries. Did I answer your question?
Well, in other words, then you can do it. In other words, once they're converted, you can just change the name on them anytime.
Yes.
That's exactly right.
You can't do it because it's paper.
Right. They have to first be electronic, because just like everything today, everything, we're living in an electronic society. It must be safer, save people money. I don't know. But yes, that's right.
I have a ton of e-bonds.
Yeah.
The best thing to do would be to convert them.
Yeah, and if you need help, I'll help you free of charge. I really know how to do it very well now. So come into my office. There's a little bit more to it. Once they're e-bonds, then you have to package them up and sign the manifest. We produce a manifest. You have to sign the manifest, and then you have to package it all up and send it to the U.S. government. I said to the guy on the phone, I said, do I have to get lots of insurance for these folks? And he said, really, you need no insurance, because once you produce the manifest, they're electronic anyways, and they're dead as paper form anyways. So, yeah, it's a process that works.
Okay, well, you guys always do my taxes anyway. Esther does my taxes, so.
My office is right next to hers. I would be delighted to help you.
The e-bonds converting to electronic.
Yeah, and don't forget that they mature after 30 years from the issue date. So, these folks that I was talking about, a lot of them were right there at maturity, and so you really want to focus on that.
Yeah, because these are mature, so.
Yep.
So, okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
And that goes back, Chris, to having beneficiaries. Beneficiaries are so important, or else things go to probate and becomes messier when you pass away.
Yep. And I know there's some older people out there that are fighting technology and don't want to convert their bonds to e-bonds because they like to have them in their hand. And because if they're e-bonds, they may forget about them. Mm-hmm. And that's where we have on our website the letter of instructions. Mm-hmm. So if you do have e-bonds, you can list them on that, and so then people know that you have the e-bonds, so they don't have to go hunting and you don't have to worry about it if something happens.
How many stories after somebody passed away, they went looking and cleaning up the house and they found bonds that they didn't know about and things like that.
Yep. And we're going to go back to the phones and talk to Wayne. Hey, Wayne, how can we help you?
I have a issue with the federal income tax. I mailed my income tax, both of them, the state and the federal, at the same time. I walked into the post office and mailed them. I've received my state, and my federal has not arrived. And when we made the phone call to the IRS there, they have no record of ever receiving it, or anything about it. So I've come to the conclusion that maybe the post office lost it.
Did you do it electronically, Wayne, or did you do it as a paper?
Paper return.
Paper return. Oh, yeah. So then why not mail it in again,
Or you can come in and we can electronically file the return for you.
Okay, so, I'm just getting into the first steps of it, because we were just checking. My wife was checking it. She found out that, like I said, there was no record of it down there. So, and then the only thing she said she could go on was the computer, and that, didn't get no satisfaction out of that.
Yeah, once you go to irs.gov, you can check on the status of your refund. You click on that. And then also, I do this, Chris and Esther calls me a pro, do a conference call and call the IRS practitioner line. It's about a 5-6 minute hold, and we could talk to a live person. That's also an option, too.
Okay. And, all right, so I should...
Give me a buzz on Monday. I'm there 9 to 5, and anytime you call, I could do a conference call. But...
What is your number at the office?
It is 632-7886. And I'm Tiffany. Just tell the receptionist to put me right through, and there obviously is no charge, and let's find out where your refund is. I mean, things like this happen all the time, and...
Yeah, it's the first time for me, it was really... And we didn't know what else to do, what the step would be, because... That 800 number they have is...
Oh, it's like a tunnel. It's a with a black hole. It's like a myth you don't get through at all to a live person. It's just like punching away at a bag and never finding your way out of it.
Yeah, do you think I might have a penalty or anything because they think I...
Did you owe money or did you have a refund?
I had a refund.
You're good.
Then no penalty at all. The only time is when you owe them money will they penalize you for filing late.
Yeah. Okay. All right, great. I'll have my wife call you.
Yep. I'll do a conference call with her, and let's get to the bottom of it. And then they'll give us advice, Wayne, as to what the next step would be, too. So they'll not only give us the status, but they'll also give us advice.
Okay. I appreciate it, Stephanie. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Enjoy the nice weather.
Okay. almost out of time here, but if you got a fast question, give us a call, 803-0930, EG Tax. If you're getting you want to become self-employed, or you are self-employed and you have questions, we're open. Our corporate office is open all year round on Colvin Boulevard, 632-7886. We want to help you so you get no surprises, because how many times do you tell someone they owe money and they have no clue?
Yeah.
And it's sad.
And then also with the tax reform, they went and changed the circular withholding tables. And so we're halfway through the year. And so you might want to make changes and remedy what it was that you were faced with when you filed your return in January.
And they're coming out in January with the new W-4, which is...
You showed it to me.
I did. I showed it to everybody. It's like doing a tax return. I mean, so if you need help, if you start getting them, we can help you with them too at no cost.
Yeah. A lot of times I tell people not to do the worksheet and just go right down to the bottom.
But if you're in a business, make sure you keep adequate records, your payroll records. You're running payroll for people. You're not paying people under the table. Sales tax. Do you have to pay sales tax? Look at this.
You want to grab Joe quick or?
Joe. We'll grab Joe.
Yep. Yes.
Hey, how can we help you?
Just a question. I was just listening about the gentleman with the savings bond. You talked something about the Treasury, but years ago I got into what's called Savings Bond Wizard.
Right.
Is that the same that digitizes them, or do you still have to link that to the Treasury?
When I talked to the banker, I talked to several bankers, and they said you had to go to U.S. Treasury Direct. But call me on Monday. I'll call the bankers that I was talking about and do some research. I can't definitively give you an answer.
It had some that came close to maturity, and I did, cash them in. But like you said, you got to sign them all.
Yep, you do. Yeah, give me a call on Monday. I'll call the two bankers who helped me.
I try to research that too.
Okay.
Let us know if you do the research. I hate to cut you short, but we're running up against the bottom of the hour or top of the hour.
Esther, feel better.
Yep, Esther, feel better. Congratulations to Dave Bellavia on his Medal of Honor. If you have tax questions during the week, give us a call at 632-7886. 632-7886, or go to our website, egtax.com. Ask the tax lady whether she's sick or not. She will answer your questions. And for now, enjoy the sunshine. This is Chris and Tiffany Fabian. Have a good weekend.